Good evening, Intro to Mathematics students. I hope that you're having a great day. Today we're going to look at lessons 1 through 4 review. It says to write each problem down and work through them with me. Actually, your teacher should have you a copy of the review that they have printed out. You should have it in front of you. We're going to review for the assessment that you're getting ready to take, and here we go. Compare the following, -9 and -6. One of the ways that we learned to compare was a number line, so I want you to think through these. So I'm going to give you a moment to think about comparing -9 to -6. You're either going to say that it's greater than, less than, or equal to. Maybe a picture of a number line will help. So we're comparing -9 to -6. What would you say? Is -9 greater than -6, less than -6, or equal to -6? I will be pausing to give you a chance to answer. So now, hopefully, you have made your choice. Remember what we talked about. -9 is farther to the left on the number line than -6. So -9 is less than -6. Question number 2. Compare the absolute value of -4 to 4. Make your choice. Equal to, greater than, less than. Remember that the absolute value means the distance a number is from 0 on the number line. -4 is 4 units from 0 on a number line. So compare that to this 4. You should have chosen equal to. Question number 3. Negative absolute value of -5. Choose your answer. Let's see how you did. Remember, the absolute value is how far is the number -5 from 0 on the number line. Well, it is 5 units from 0. But then you have a negative on the outside of the absolute value. So it actually turns it back into a -5. Next, we have what is the opposite of -5. Choose your answer. Hopefully you remember that an opposite of a number is just, opposite has to do with the opposite side of the number line. So -5 is to the left of 0 on the number line. So on the other side of 0 on that number line would be a +5. So the opposite of -5 is +5. Hope you got that one. Question number 5. Name the largest number. You probably should use a calculator to figure this out because you got 2 and 2/3. Remember, that's 2 plus 2 divided by 3. On a calculator, that gives you 2.6 with some repeating 6's. 2 and 1/4 is 2 plus 1 divided by 4, and that's 2.25. Then we have the number 3 and the number -2. Well, positive numbers are greater than negative numbers. 3 is larger than 2 and some. And again, this one is 2 and some. So the largest number was 3. What is the opposite of 8? Again, opposite is the same distance from 0 that 8 is. So 8's on the positive side. So what is the opposite of 8? Choose your answer. So the opposite of that, positive 8, we should have chosen negative 8. I hope you're getting all these right. When putting these in order from least to greatest, which should come first? Now this question is related to the one we did before. So think about that. Which would come first in ordering it least to greatest? When I look at these numbers, the only negative number is -2. And negative numbers are smaller than positive, so -2 would be the least. So it would come first. Then if we were to put these in order, then we could go from there. But we're looking for just the least, which would come first. Which of the following is the least? If it helps you, use a number line. Now, looking at the number line, which of the following is the least? The one to farthest to the left, -10. So on your assessment, if you need to, draw yourself a number line, put 0 in the middle, mark off the whole numbers to the right, and the opposites of those whole numbers to the left to make your comparisons. Name a number that A could represent. Please choose your answer. Notice that A is between 6 and 7. So you could have chosen a million different answers. 6.5, 6.1, 6.7, 6.9. As long as you have the whole number of 6 and then some part to it. That will give you a number that A could represent. Question 10. What can every rational number be written as? I hope that you remember that that is a fraction. Every rational number can be written as a fraction. Write 0.06 as a percent. There's several ways to look at this. One is that 6 is in the hundredths place, and 6 is in the hundredths place, and percent means out of 100. This is actually 6%. Another way to look at this is moving your decimal 2 places to the right, because the decimal at the end, which also, of course, is 6%. Question number 12. Replace the blank with greater than, less than, or equal to. Go ahead and choose your answer. In this problem, you have to pay attention to this is 423%. So 5, yes, of course, is less than 423. But we have to take 423%. Here's the decimal, and move it 2 places to the left to write this number as a decimal, because the only way to compare two numbers is to have them in the same form. Now this is 5 in sum and 4 in sum, so this actually turns out to be greater than. Replace the blank with greater than, less than, or equal to. Try this one. Okay, on a calculator, we want to put them both in the same form to compare them. And we chose mainly decimals with these first 4 lessons. 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. 25%, or the decimal 2 places to the left, is also 0.25. So these are actually equal. Question 14. Since percent means out of 100, how do you write 30% as a fraction? So don't forget from our percent lesson that 30% is written as 30 over 100. Now that fraction can be reduced, but in our lessons we have not been reducing those at this time. Classify -6 using natural, whole, integer, or rational. Which of those 4 can -6 fit into? Which of those 4 categories? It's okay here just to circle the ones that -6 fits in that category with. You got to remember, here's our review. Natural numbers are the ones you learned to count by, starting with 1, 2, 3, 4 on up. Whole numbers, just put 0 in that group. Integers, then put both those negatives and the positives, whole numbers. And a rational number can be written as a fraction. So -6 is not a natural number because you didn't learn to count with negatives. Positives is what you learned to count with. It's not a whole number because all we do is put 0 into the mixed. It is an integer because it's one of the whole numbers. So we can keep going here if we needed to see that. And it is rational because it can be, every whole number can be written as a fraction with a 1 underneath. So the 2 categories that -6 fits into is integer and rational. Define integer. Remember what we talked about an integer is whole numbers and their opposites. Whole numbers and their opposites. That's the definition of integer. Question 17. Write 293% as a decimal. Go ahead and try it. (293%), decimal on the end, 2 places to the left. The decimal would be 2.93. 293% is over 100%, which is over 1. So there should be a whole number part and a fraction part to that percent. Give an example of a natural number. Okay, you could have written anything for this, any counting number starting with 1 and on. So you could have given the example of 452, 2,354, just so it was a whole positive number. That made it the natural number. Question 19, define absolute value. To remember, absolute value is the distance a number is from 0 on a number line. Lastly, if 40% was written as a fraction, the denominator would be what? Remember, percent means out of what? Out of 100. So the denominator would be 100. You're getting ready to take an assessment. Questions will be very similar to this review. I hope that you listen to the review, work through the review, pause the review where you needed to. If you need to go back and look at a question, use your computer and just go back and forth in this presentation and find the question that you need to review it once again before you go into the assessment, or go back, and if you have time, to look at other lessons, to look at other problems, to review your notes so that you'll be ready to take the assessment. Good luck.